Okay, class, so here's the worksheet 10B, and if you're able to get this worksheet, then you definitely understand how to graph trig functions, and you're in great shape. If not, hopefully this review right now will help you in understanding that. And just one word with the upcoming quiz. Now, be careful, the quiz involves the whole chapter. We've learned a lot of stuff this chapter. There's a lot of material. From the beginning of trig ratios like the sine, the cosine, the tangent, the cosecant, the secant. We talked about unit circles. We talked about trig functions in a Cartesian plane where the sine, instead of thinking of it as the opposite over the hypotenuse, it is the y value divided by the r, the radius. So different ways of thinking there. We looked at 30, 60, 90, 45, 45, 90 triangles. We looked at radians, lots of stuff. And so be careful. Go back and review your notes. Look at the quick review videos. Go ahead and watch the chapter review video. All of that's going to help you, as well as I hope this does here at the end. Sometimes students focus on the last things of a chapter, and they use those last things to think that they're getting ready for a test. Well, it's just the last thing of the chapter. We've learned lots of things. Don't neglect all the other things we've learned this chapter. Okay, let's get going. So the key to graphing is to first off make sure that you understand all the key parts of the graph. So I need to know the amplitude. All right, my amplitude is the 1.5 or 1.5. That's important. I also need to know the period. Now the period is for the sine 360 divided by the b value. So that's going to be 360 divided by the 2. The 2 is the b value, and therefore my period is 180 degrees. Now I also have to know where the wave starts, its horizontal shift. And the horizontal shift is the 90, and so we are right 90 degrees. In addition, I have to know the vertical shift. The vertical shift is the wave shifted up or down, and the vertical shift is this wave is shifted up 0.5. All of these are important, and all of them are key. So I'm going to do the vertical shift first at 0.5. This is the rest of my wave. In other words, the zero position. I call it rest. It's the zero position. Now I can go ahead and do my amplitude. From here, I have to go up 1.5. So 0.51, and 1.5 up from the rest gets me up to here. 1.5 down from the rest takes me down to here. Now I have my max, my crest, and my min, my trough of my wave. Now I also have to know where the wave starts. So my horizontal shift tells me where to start the wave. And I'm going to start the wave right 90 degrees. This is where the wave starts. This is my start. And the period, 180 degrees from the 90, tells me where it will stop. So from 90, I have to go 180 degrees or to 270. Now I have to graph the sine within this first period with this first shift. So key points. Now notice I already have the sine pattern right here, right? You see that sine pattern? So this is what I'm going to use, right? And I know, now I'm going to go back, I'm going to be right in here, right between these two dotted red lines. The start of my wave and the end of my wave. I know the sine starts at rest, right there. I know at the first quarter, the wave is at a crest or max. Then halfway, it's at rest. Then 3/4 of the way, it's at a trough or at its min, and then it's back to rest. Here's the first wave with its horizontal shift, its vertical shift, and its period change. Now it's just a factor of graphing it over the interval asked. So I need to go another 180 from 270. So that's going to take me 270, 370, 450. So I'll get another wave there, and then I'm going to go another 180. It's 1, 2, every 4 marks. 1, 2, 3, 4. And my last wave, 1, 2, 3, 4, would end there, but I'm going to stop early because I'm going to stop at 720. So I'll do again. I'm going to go now, watch, right in this interval, right? So again, rest, max, rest, min, rest. And I just keep repeating that. Rest, max, rest, min, rest, max, rest, and that's it, right? The wave stops there. I'm told to stop at 720. So up we go, down we go, up we go, down we go, up we go, and down, and I'm going to stop right there. Now, how do I back up? All right, just have to go backwards. So the wave would have come from a min and then from a rest, and here's the backup part. And there is the wave graphed from 0 to 720 degrees. All right, how did you do? Let's do the next one. All right, this one's going to be the cosine. So let me grab my pattern and scroll this down a little for me here. Oh, it's transparent. It's kind of hard to see, but that's okay. I'll just put it right there for now. Okay, and I got to bring it up here because I got to look at this part. Okay, no problem. Okay, let's look at number 2. I'll bring it up when we have time. Now I'm dealing with the cosine. And again, I want to start with my amplitude. The amplitude on this one is a 1, right? It's not shown, but we know it's a 1. All right, now to get my period, I have to be careful here. I must factor out this half. I'm going to do it in green. So this is half times the quantity of beta. And then if I factor out a half from a 45, I have to make it a 90. Okay? Now I still have that minus 1 in the back, right? And you still have the cosine here in the front. So what does all that mean? Now this is key that you factor that out. All of that means now my period is 360 normal for the cosine divided by 1/2, which is 720 degrees, is one wave. All right, I have to have that in mind. I have to understand this if I'm going to get this wave correct. I also need my horizontal shift. And now you can see the horizontal shift is left 90 degrees. And I need my vertical shift. And you can see your vertical shift is down 1. All right, I always start with the vertical shift because that's my rest position. It's at -1. Okay, so there is rest. I also need, I can do my amplitude now. My amplitude is 1, so I go up 1 from rest, which gets me there, right? And I go down 1 from rest, which puts me there. And that's where my wave will rest, between those 2 dotted lines of the amplitude. Okay, where do I start? My horizontal shift is left 90. All right, so I look right here and I see 2 marks is 90. So left 2 marks must be -90. So this is the start of my wave. Now you got to know where you start. That's really, really, really important. That's the start of my wave. Okay, where does my wave end? I have to, from here, go 720 degrees. -90 and 720 makes me end at 630. There's the end of my wave. Really, really important. Okay, so now I've got the rest. I've got the amplitude, the top and the bottom, the high and low. I've got the left and right. The only thing I have to determine now is where are my quarter, half, and 3/4 marks, right? So I'm going to count how many spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. See, I made it nice. What is 16 divided by 4? It's 4. So my quarter marks, I'm going to use, I'm just going to use black right here. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to go right there. That's my first quarter. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's half. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 3/4. 1, 2, 3, 4 to the end. Perfect. Okay, let's grab now our cosine pattern. Let me see. Let me stick it. Does it work over there? Yeah, that works. Okay, so are you looking at the cosine pattern? All right, the cosine starts at a max. So where's the max? At our start, right there. I circled it because it's not going to show up well. All right, but it's right there. And then at the first quarter, we're at rest. You see it right there? At the midway through halfway, we're at a min. At the 3/4, we're at rest. And we finish off at the max. So here is our wave. Now again, try to make these things look like curves, not V's. And this is a sweeping curve. Now I got to be careful. I got to go 2 more spaces. Now how do I do that? Well, I'm just going to look at the beginning again. What happened in 2 spaces? And that'll allow me to just draw that little part there, and I can see that this thing is starting to head down, but that's it. So this won't be exact, it's just going to be a sketch, but it's going to start to head back down, and that's it. That's it. And technically, we were to graph from 0, so I would go back and erase that part of the wave. And there we have it. Oops, I shouldn't have even included that, right? There we have it, graphed from 0 to 720. All right, interesting. I thought it was. Let's do the next one. Let me get this out of the way, get our pattern out of the way. Okay, so again, we got to start with our amplitude. Amplitude is 3. All right, we're dealing with the sine. Period. Oh, see how we got to factor that 3 out again? Got to factor that 3 out. It's going to give me, it's an alpha. Oh, that's a bad alpha. Let's try this again. That's better alpha. All right, and this must have been minus 30, and then you still have the plus 1, and you still have the 3 sine, right? All right, so what's my period now? A normal 360 divided by 3, it's 120 degrees. So I have a 120 degree period. Okay, what is my horizontal shift? My horizontal shift is right 30 degrees. What is my vertical shift? My vertical shift is up 1. Okay. Now I need to look at, as you notice, I didn't put the degrees in this time. Wanted you to do that. And we've been doing all ours in degrees, and really you should get good to be able to do them in radians, but these are confusing enough in degrees. I'd rather that you work in something that you understand better to help you understand the whole concept of graphing, and that's why we're graphing in degrees instead of radians, but you should be able to do both. Okay, so I have to be careful here of knowing where to start, how to end, how do I want to do my increments. Now, a key right now to getting everything going is my period of 120 degrees. And I also notice I have to start right 30 degrees. I wonder if I can do every mark 30 degrees. So if that's 30, and that will be 60, 90. Let's see, I'll put that in 90, 120, 150, 180, 210, 240, 270, 300, 330, 360. You know what? That's going to work fine because I'm going to graph my wave from 0 to 360. So I like that. Okay, this is what you got to do. Now, that was important. And the other part that was important, notice the start of our wave, right? 30, right? So here's the start. And notice the end, I have to go 120 or to 150. And here's the end. And notice how I have 1, 2, 3, 4. See how it's broken up into quarters? That's really important. Man, if you went by 45 degrees, then it's going to be a little trickier because you're not going to get 4 increments between 30 and 120. This has to all be part of the process. Okay, now I need my rest position. And I have to figure out my amplitude. Well, I have to go 3 up and 3 down. So I better make every block 1, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, -1, -2. Okay, where's my rest? Up 1. So here's my rest. Okay, perfect. And now do my amplitude, go up 3 from there, 1, 2, 3. That gives me the max, or the crests right there, and the troughs go down 3 from the rest, 1, 2, 3, and that gives my troughs, or my mins right there. I think I said crest and trough, crest and max. All right, anyhow. So there we have it. Now, again, what's the key? Our wave, we're going to do it right in this first area, right? From start to end, from max to min, with that rest position. And again, I know the pattern of my sine. Let me pull it up here. All right, can you see the pattern of the sine? So again, I know the sine starts at rest, right there. At the first quarter, it's a max. Halfway, it's at rest. Third quarter, it's at min. It ends at rest. Here goes my sine. All right, so right now I'm between 30 and 150. I'm going to go another 120. 2, 3, 4. It's going to take me to there. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. The fourth one would actually end there. So watch. I start right there, right? I'm doing the next set at rest. First quarter max, halfway rest, third quarter min, finish at rest, first quarter max, halfway rest, third quarter min. I'm going to stop because that's where the wave stops. All right, let's fill in the curve. We're going like this. I'm going to stop right there at my 360, and I have to back up to 0, right? Because we're to graph from 0 to 360. So do you know where you end up backwards? You end up at the min right there. So we have that part. No, that didn't look good. Hard doing it electronically, hitting the spots there. That still doesn't look good. It should curve a little bit more, something like that. Okay, good enough. And there is number 3. All right, one more to go. One more to go. Let me get my pattern out of the way. All right, in this one I asked for the domain and range as well. All right, and so again we got to list everything. I'm going to do it down here. My amplitude is 3/2 or 1.5. Boy, you guys struggle with 3/2. I don't know why. All right, what is my period? It's 360 normally for the cosine divided by 2, so it's 180. What is my horizontal shift? Left, because it's minus, a minus 45, so left 45 degrees. Vertical shift is down 0.5. Okay, so again, you have to figure out the scale here, and you got to do it within the parameters I gave. A key to getting our scale going is our period of 180 degrees. So I want 4 increments between 180. So 180 divided by 2 is 90, and divide that by 2 is 45. So I'm going to go by 45s. So this is 45, 90, 135, 180, 225, 270, right? 25, yeah, 270, 315, 335, 360. I do that right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Something's off. All right. 45, 90, 135. Okay, I see already where we're off. All right, let's fix this. Brother, would help if I could count, right? We'll get it. All right, let's go back. This is real life, right? 135, 130, okay, 90, 135, yeah, 180, 270, 360 is right there. Okay, that's what it was. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Perfect. Okay, so now I got my scale. I got to look at my up and down scale. Let's make each block 0.5. So this will be 0.5 and this will be 1. This will be negative 0.5, negative 1, negative 1, negative 1.5. Okay, let's go ahead and put my rest in. My rest is at negative 0.5. So there's my rest. All right, let's put our start in. Oh, do our amplitude. Yeah, let me do my amplitude. All right, so up 1.5 from that rest. 1, 2, 3 right there is 1.5 above the rest. 1, 2, 3, and that is 1.5 below the rest. Okay, where do we start? Left 45, so I know each mark is 45, so that's got to be right there. Left 45, and where do I end? 180 degrees from negative 45. So that's going to be right there. Now this is the best way to set it up. Again, yours may look a little different because you may have set up your scale differently, but that's going to get me 4 marks between. Okay, so we're all set up and ready to graph. So let's take note that we are graphing the cosine here, right? So we're dealing with the cosine. And so with that cosine, we want to graph. And so our pattern is over here. Let me see if I can move this. Yeah. All right, so now we're going to watch the cosine pattern. And notice it starts at a max, right? So I'm going to go to my start, right? Start is here. And end of my complete wave is there. So I'm going to go to my start. And I'm right there at a max. First quarter, I'm at rest, right? Halfway, I'm at a min. Third quarter, I'm at rest. And I finish at a max. All right, and so here is my function. And now I just need to repeat that all the way through the 360. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Here's my next wave. And again, max, rest, halfway min, 3/4 rest, finish at a max. I'm going to do this one in black. And again, I just need to go a few more. So I'm at the max. First quarter is at rest. So I end up there. And technically, because we're going 0 to 360, I can go back and I can erase that part of it. And this is what your graph should look like right here. Right? Now, your scale may be a little bit different than mine. So you may have made every 2 blocks 45 degrees. Okay, so yours will look more stretched out. It's the same thing, it's just you change the horizontal scale. But this is the look of the cosine graph over this period. Okay, hope you got it. Hope you'll pay attention to this chapter. A lot of stuff in this chapter. Now, this is the ending stuff. So don't just focus on the last thing we looked at this chapter. There's a lot of stuff. So make sure that you are keeping up with it and take advantage of the helps. I hope you're watching the quick review videos. They're really helpful because they give you in a 5 or 6 minute time frame the overall concept of each lesson. A lot of stuff here to learn and comprehend and assimilate, and so study